Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Anarchy Online. When we last left off, we were traveling through this lovely wasteland. We came from that area over here, we walked this way, came back over here, and we finally made it to the mission location for for this sandstorm thing. So we have to equip this rocket launcher. So let's do that. By the way, what happens is if you equip this rocket launcher and start running around with it, it will break. So wait till you get close before you equip it. While we're doing this mission, it's a good opportunity. Maybe I realized something in between missions is that I haven't really explained a lot about sort of the combat mechanics and in terms of the time. So here you'll notice. So now we're obviously using not our rifle, but this launcher. But you see here, the attack bar goes, and so that is, that's your swing timer, basically. How long it takes you to make an attack. Now, some weapons are going to be very fast and are going to complete their swing very quickly, but other weapons are going to take a lot longer. And when you have a high ranged in it, that is what is basically being affected, right? So your ranged in it is going to reduce the swing timer on a slow weapon. So you might say, well, what if I already had a fast weapon? What's the point, of just having a lot of ranged in it on a fast weapon, because it will be already at the minimum speed, right? And so, alright, we finished our mission. Actually, we finished our mission a while ago. We only needed to kill 3, but I figured let's get the experience and spend all our ammo, because we had 5 ammo with this gun. So let's look at our rifle. Our rifle has an attack of 1 and a recharge of 1.5. So first of all, the ranged in it, oh geez, I could be wrong about this. Does it only affect... it's been so long. Actually, for the nanos, it only affects the attack, not the recharge. I wonder if for weapon attacks it's the same. It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess we'll figure it out soon enough. And so, you might ask, what's the point of having a lot of ranged in it if you already have a weapon that has very low attack speed, right? Or very high attack speed, I guess, very low swing time. And the point is, down here, you see there's a slider called the AgDef slider, Aggressive Defensive Slider. The more, bit of rubber band. The more we slide this towards aggressive, and now it's on full aggressive, it will actually give a bonus to your attack speed. But it will cause you to lose a bit of defenses. In other words, your defensive rating will go down, and it will make it easier for enemies to hit you, to land hits on you. If you go... towards the defensive side, it will give you a bonus to your defenses. Now, these defenses are the same things that these evade skills contribute to. So, I don't know if as an agent we're ever going to have a lot of success with, going full def as it's called. But basically, if you have high defensive skills, going full def basically reduces... it can allow you to tank or dodge a lot of hits. And obviously... in terms of tanking in this game, that's an important part of it. If you can get your attack speeds lower by having high emits, then you can afford to bring your slider back towards def, and so you're going to take a lot less damage. So that's how that happens. The same thing is true for nano attacks. So nano init reduces the cast time, but it doesn't reduce the recharge time. Now, so far as an agent, you haven't noticed any of that because our nanos are basically instant cast and our attacks were instant cast. But if you're playing with it as another profession, you might notice every time you attack it, it has to increase, it has to cast the whole spell. By the way, I hope, I've got a bit of a fan air conditioning going on in the background. I hope it's not too loud during this recording. So we finished that mission. Before we go turn it in, we're going to spend a bit of time with the aliens here. And we just gained level 10, I believe. Yes, so now we have access to perks. So why don't we take a while to look at this beautiful, beautiful screen. So perks are a lot of fun. There are 3 categories of perks. These general perks are available to every class. group perks are kind of a bit more divided up, like so agents might share some perks with, soldiers or other people who shoot guns. There's some different categorizations, but these are sort of more specialized. And profession perks are only available to your profession. If it's not highlighted in green, so the green ones are from the Alien expansion perks. So if you don't have Alien expansion, you do not have these green ones. The other perks are simply unlocked as you gain levels. Every 10 levels, you will get a perk point, and then you get more once you get into the Shadowlands levels. Then you just get one per level. And you can reset perks, and it just takes about 2 hours per perk. And that's it. And furthermore, like, some perks are kind of locked, like, by level, right? So it'd be impossible, but suppose I had 10 perk points right now, I still couldn't get Assassin past the first one, right? Because the second one, it says, requires level 20. So let's take a moment to go to look at these our choices as an agent, because this will kind of help you understand why we're making the choices we are about our character. So our first perk line, Assassin. It is modifying rifle, aimed shot, some dodging, and like concealment, right? If we look, more of the same, right? So it's buffing rifle and aim shot. And here you see this one finally buffs critical increase. So it's giving us a crit chance increase. So all of these, and here another critical increase, right? So overall, this line is buffing our rifle skill, our aim shot, and our crit. In addition, it gives us a few special abilities, like here you see one, Tranquilizer, low direct damage, snare, and debuff, and whatnot, toxic shock. So, this is an overall just buff what the agent is good at, right? So it buffs rifle. So if we had picked another weapon type, like pistols, for example, then, there's nothing stopping us from taking this line, but we're not benefiting, right, from... We don't have a line that increases crit and pistol. Our line increases crit and rifle, right? So Shadow Sneak increases concealment, aimed shot, and sense, right? So you notice there's a lot... Always they're increasing aimed shot, but aimed shot in PvE is really hard to pull off. So that's why it's a kind of tricky class to play with. And as we look through this, sense, concealment, aimed shot, I'll use those three, right? And then there's a few other special abilities, right? Damage, and just direct damage, right? So basically you can get a feeling that the agent has like very high alpha, right? They're able by combining a bunch of nanos and a bunch of special attacks and abilities to deliver a huge amount of damage in a very concentrated period of time, which is great in PvP, but in PvE it's just really hard to make it work. Let's look at some of these other ones. Black Ops, again, buffing rifle, aimed shot. This one also buffs fling shot, but most importantly, this one adds damage, right? So any perk line that you have that adds damage is great. So this is a fantastic line. It's just really going to boost our damage by a lot. And also has some nice, on-use abilities. Sharpshooter, again, aimed shot, special attack, but this one, notice, has critical increase, right? Once, twice, and I think a third time, right? Yeah, so from this line, we get a total of an extra 3% crit. So the agent has things that increase aim shot and crit. Let's look at Maid. This is from the, this is from the Alien Invasion expansion. Now, by the way, the AI perks, you don't have to wait till you're 220, which is the 200 from standard and then 20 plus shadow levels. You gain alien levels in parallel. And so let's look at what these gives us. This gives us, again, aimed shot and some dodges, some nano, right? So just a whole bunch of stuff. So we are getting a bunch of dodge from here, which is kind of compensating from our dark blue dodge skills, but it's not much. So this is giving us aimed shot, basically. Not super attractive, to be honest. Let's look in the group perks. Power Up is a straight up add damage, but also modify ranged energy. So this means that if we didn't want to go with rifles, another attractive choice would be ranged energy weapons. There are fewer of them in the game, especially if you don't have Shadowlands or access to the alien weapons. Then you really have limited choices for ranged energy. If you're paid account, then there are more options, more items open up. But even though this is a great perk line, right? It adds 10 ranged energy each level, or even more, and adds damage. You're still not getting like the crit increases, for example, right? From that you were getting from Assassin. Let's look at Rifle Mastery. Rifle, Fling Shot, and Health. So this is just giving us a straight buff to our rifle skill, which is great. Mountaineer is just giving you strength. That's not very useful. Nano Doctorate is great. It gives you nano skill buffs. And at least in this build, I'm going to try to do a lot of nano skills stuff. Honestly, I could have tried like a nano mage agent. That would have been interesting. But anyways, so this gives you boosts a lot of your nano skills, which is going to be good for us because I'm going to try to cast a lot of nanos from other classes. Let's look at Ranger. Oh, Ranger gives us bow and aimed shot. So another alternative besides ranged energy would be using a bow weapon. The problem with that is that the problem with basically bow and ranged energy is that you have to take these perk lines and you don't benefit from basically assassination, right? Because it gives you a rifle instead. So that's really the downside. So you get bow and aim shot basically from this. The unknown factor is just trait skills, so who cares? In general perks, there's a lot more. A few that really stand out are, let's see, Explorer's not the one, no. So these champion of blah 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 are important, right? Champion of heavy artillery we're probably going to want because it's giving us rifle, which is what we want. We want a buff rifle. Depending on what weapon you're using, one of these champion of whatever weapon is going to be useful. Champion of nano combat is buffing our nano skills, so that's also useful. The other skills here, like you have stuff that buffs treatment. You have stuff here that buffs your stats, which can be useful, right? Especially when you're trying to equip implants or armor. So these can definitely come in handy, and you can spec into these sort of temporarily and then reset them after if you're trying to get into like a really hard to get piece of equipment. So there's no worry about that. Genius we won't need, but Genius is a great perk because it has a nano recharge, or regain nano. So for the classes that use a lot of nano, this is an amazing perk. The other one I really wanted to mention was, so Training Seminar adds bonus XP, which is amazing, right? So that's nice. And there's one more, I think maybe it's Cartographer. Yeah, Cartographer gives you a teleportation, which in terms of moving around is kind of nice. So this basically gives you like a recall that you can use to get back to like a safe city. So that can actually be kind of handy sometimes. Okay, so enough talking about that. We have one perk point, so we actually talked a lot but didn't quite decide what we were gonna do. I think so Rifle Mastery is obviously always going to be great. At this level, I'm going to prioritize Black Ops because this damage buff is amazing. And obviously Sharpshooter for the crit is great, but like taking this first level of Sharpshooter, at level 50 we'll probably have better choices, right? But we want to max this line to get the crit buffs. But that'll only be at level 100, so this will be a priority, but not at the beginning. So I think we're going to prioritize Black Ops to get the damage, unless we can get a really good buff from like Sharpshooter. And then the rest will fill in with either nano buffing things or rifle buffing things. So I think right now we can go for Rifle 6, Fling Shot 1, Health 10, that looks good. Or Yeah, this is not... Assassinate... Assassin isn't really doing much here. So let's start off with Rifle Mastery, unless there's something here. Explorer, no. Stats we don't need. Yeah, let's go with Rifle Mastery just for our first level. This will give us 2 damage. And Energize. I mean, you know, I almost wonder... I'm kind of curious. I wonder what Energize... It's a damage buff that lasts 30 seconds and recharge 1 minute. So that's going to be almost always on. You know... I don't know. That's pretty good. Let's, I'm curious about Energize. Let's try that. So this is buffing my ranged energy, which I don't need to buff. Although, you know, I'm wondering if, why don't we try, like, a ranged energy weapon later on? We could always do that. Again, we can reset these perks. It's not a big issue. So I'm just curious about the Energize perk. I mean, the Energize action. Also, it just gives us something to click on earlier on, which is nice. So, let's see. Let's put it here. Yeah, adds 15 damage. That is really strong. I never realized really how strong that was. So, my bad. Okay, so anyways, we started killing aliens. Notice now our green experience bar is going up, not the yellow one, because we're getting alien experience. So here we're trying to get basically 2 alien levels, because that's basically the maximum that... And notice here the Energize buff is going to run out soon. That's the maximum we can sort of take advantage of at this level, right? We'll have to get to level 15 before we can get alien level 3. But that'll give us 2 alien perks, which is good. Also, these aliens drop sort of weapons, alien weapons that... but the bigger ones tend to drop the weapons, so we're going to try to hunt these bigger ones if we can. I'm kind of seeing if I can wait. Let's see if we can pull this off. Yeah. So we did Energize. We got the aim shot off, and we got our dot on. So these guys are pretty tough, right? Alien mobs are tougher than, you know, mobs in the vanilla game. Also, Shadowlands mobs are tougher than the ones in the regular game. But, you know, usually they give you better rewards. So notice that, you know, we're having a hard time beating them. By the way, they drain your nano, which is why my nano's almost gone. So keep that in mind if you're playing here and you have a class that depends on nano. And let's kill this spider quickly. Nope, and a scout. So these, you know, regenerating... These stims are good, but they have a pretty long cooldown. But I think we'll be okay here. It's gonna be close. Fling shot came off cooldown. Energize. Whoa. That was really close, but we fought 3 off basically. Now, what weapon did we get? Submachine gun. The other thing I wouldn't mind is getting an AI rifle. The rifle doesn't have fling shot, if I remember correctly, but... Oh, it can see me. But it just has such great stats that it kind of doesn't matter if it has fling shot or not. Okay, as long as we're not attacked by like a million ads, we should be fine even without an aim shot open. What's this? Oh, we got our first alien level. So now we have 1 alien perk point. But until we're higher level, we can't, like, so we can't spend it on maid because we have to be level 15. And we can't spend it on ranger because we have to be level 25. So, and maid kind of sucks, I think. At least I'm not interested in it. So really I'm going to want to spend these on like these champion, or maybe champion of nano combat or something. But we can't do that until level 25 either. So I guess we're just going to put it in sense and agility just for now. And again, we can reset, we can clear these out later. Alright, let's see if we can get this guy. Yeah. Got the aim shot off, and I've buffed my damage, right? It looks like we might get a friend. Well, at least they're not resisting my nanos, which is good. Looks like this fight's going pretty well. So I'm gonna farm a bunch of these guys. Might as well wear this ring. I'm gonna farm a bunch of these guys to see if I can get alien rifle. We got a sledgehammer, two-hand blunt. Fortunately, not what we wanted. So I'm just killing the random dudes. Here's a scout. I think the scouts can drop the weapons, but it's a much lower drop rate. Okay, here's another specialist. Well, they can see me. So no aim shot. Let's not forget the damage over time. I guess while I'm fighting, do I have any IP left? Yeah. I've been trying to spend this IP off camera. Although here, let's not forget one shot off cooldown, and also I should have healed. I should have used my stim right at the beginning, in the hopes that the cooldown timer would have recycled, you know, by the time we get through the fight. Now, obviously, this is like a quality level 1 stim, so it's very weak. It's not doing much for me, but later on, of course, we'll get better stims. Stims, by the way, you're gonna need first aid to use them, whereas rechargers usually use treatment. Let's go energize up. So we're starting, if you remember maybe a few episodes ago, I said, you know, level 15 is the first, I think in the game it's called a title level. Like you gain a new title. It's just like a first kind of threshold. And until you get there, you're still earning the same amount of IP every time you level. Except the requirements get steeper, right? It costs more. So what happens is you end up not having enough IP to keep maxing all the skills you were maxing before. So you really gotta budget your IP correctly. So you can see now, before we've been able to, let's see if we can get an aim shot off here. Nope. Too bad. Let's see if we can root him. Apparently not. Well, there was some lag, so wasn't able to cast it again. In fact, I'm seem to be stuck in a bunch of lag. Well, at least we got the dot off. Let's get the energize up, and let's not forget to heal. All right, it's much executed. Yeah. So let's see if we can actually max everything that we've been maxing before. Like you can tell, we're kind of running lower on IP compared to the previous level ups. And by the time we get to level 13, 14, we're really gonna have to leave some stuff, you know, trailing behind. So at, you know, early levels, it might seem like, oh, I can get everything I want, but actually, you're gonna run out of IP pretty quickly, especially in the early levels. So like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep up all this nano stuff for long. Probably not. So I'm gonna leave run speed. For some reason, I'm continuing with aim shot and concealment, even though, like, my gut feeling is telling me this is a waste. But, you know, we're gonna try. I'm gonna try to make it work. No. They always see me. To be fair, I'm kind of standing too close, right? If I came in from farther away sneaking and tried to hit him at max range, I'd probably have a much better chance of making that work. Okay. A friend just popped up, so we're actually gonna run off here to make sure we don't get random social aggro. I also forgot to dot him. Flame shots back up. We've almost got our second alien experience level. Now here's an interesting... So here I got a ranged energy weapon. And I wonder if... So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, you know, what if we went... You know, I've been talking up a storm about how, oh, you know, the agents can only use rifles. But actually... Like, let's look at these perks here, right? The only thing... Okay, let's engage this fight here. Oh, we got the aim shot. That's nice. Let's get the dot. So, in the group perks, you know, okay, so you don't pick Rifle Mastery, but if you don't have Rifle Mastery, you're not missing much. You're missing, like, the AC debuff shot, which is actually pretty nice, but, you know, whatever, we'll live. Yeah, so there's, like, a series of special abilities, but we're just swapping it out for other special abilities we would get from power-up, right? Now, what else would we probably not get? What's this? This looks like a pistol. Yeah, pistol. Come on. Okay. The other thing that buffs rifle... By the way, in here, there is a team instance. There's a person who will give you a quest, and you have to be in a team to do this. Which I'd love to do, but there's like nobody else around, because of time zones and whatnot. So we'll just have to skip that unless somebody shows up. Yeah, so like sharpshooter, we don't lose anything from going ranged energy. You know, Black Ops. Yeah, Black Ops gives us rifle. But I mean, it's not. I mean, it does give us damage. I'm wondering if it can still kind of make it work. So, I mean, I'm concerned because it's less efficient, right? Because taking Black Ops is giving us rifle, aim, shot, concealment, fling, and then damage, right? Power up is giving us damage. Oh, I gotta pay attention here. Not doing well. We've got to do a bunch of things like turn on energize. Hopefully we'll do okay. What are the specials we're getting? Power volume. This fight is not going very well. We might die. That would be truly unfortunate. Yeah, I don't see... I mean, hopefully we get very lucky. I'm gonna spam fling shot. Oh, yeah, we got lucky. Another two-handed energy. So at this point, let me just confirm that, but I think we're done. I think we're not getting any more alien levels, right? We have to be 15 to actually unlock the next one, is what I think. I'm just going to confirm by killing this scout. Yeah. Okay, so we're done here with the aliens. Unless I wanted to farm them for a rifle. Now, here's the truth, is that I know that when we get out of here, we're going to go into a place called the subway. And in the subway, we're going to find a new weapon, like a new rifle, or a new anything, right? So right now, the question that I'm asking myself is, do I go for a switch, and do I just go ranged energy for a while? Now, see, ranged energy, God, it's blue. So bad. So, if you're wondering, you can reset your IP, but you have limited numbers of resets, and they're really hardcore limited per character, right? So it is almost never worth using them unless you're already really high level. But if you are really high level, then you definitely might want to switch. It could make sense to build a character, like use these sets of skills to get through a certain period of the game, and then switch to another set. That can totally be a thing. Okay, let's get back to town. Let's turn in the stuff we need to turn in. I guess one thing we can do as we walk is... Whoop, rubber band. One thing we can do is we can level up our newcomer armor. And I gotta decide between... I mean, basically... The only reason I'm conflicted about it is because I just happened to pick up this beautiful ranged energy weapon, right? So it's so tempting to use it. But I could stick around and just farm a rifle, but I kind of don't feel like doing that. And that time would be better spent, leveling up, and then I could just get a better weapon because I'm a higher level, right? So it's kind of silly to farm it. Yeah, anyways, I've been agonizing for a while about the ranged energy stuff. I'll put some thought into it, and we're long overdue for the end of this episode, so I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.